Hi, I'm John.
I'm Terry.
What would you do if you had a boil order or you couldn't, your water supply was tainted somehow? Today, we're going to show you how to build your own water filtration system for fairly cheap.
Without spending hundreds of dollars on the name brand ones.
Yeah, this system is kind of a knockoff of the Berkey system, or the big silver ones that you see go for hundreds of dollars. We're all in under $100 easy. Who can tell me what this is and why it would be important to have for prepping? Put your answers in the comments, but stick around till the end of the video to get the answer.
Okay, so we have a couple of options on buckets, and these buckets, as you can see, this is a round 3-gallon bucket.
Gallon, recycled.
Yeah, we bought this off of Facebook Marketplace. Someone was swapping stuff out, so you can see that it had sugar in it in '08. So that was one option we had. Or we have these square buckets that we have used for some of our food storage. What they are is the cherry plant uses these when they're sorting and packaging up the pie cherries.
So yeah, we actually have a cherry distribution center close by that the kids have actually worked at. And we bought these years ago, some of their surplus.
Before we even lived.
Yeah, we were living out of state at the time. We decided to do square because it stacks better.
For storing these.
For storing it. So that's why we went with the square one.
That, and we thought that it would probably seal better when we put the spigot on it. So like John said, this is going to be designed after the Berkey style. So what we're gonna have is one bucket on the bottom with a spigot. This is going to be the clean water reservoir. And then this bucket, we will drill through the bottom and the filter will connect in and come out through here. And then this will get stacked on top of this bucket. The water that we need to filter will be put in this bucket. It will gravity feed down into this bucket, and then we'll be able to get it out through the spigot. So especially with using recycled buckets, you bought a kit on Amazon that is enough to make 2 of these or have replacements.
I think it was like $35 off the check, but it was not very much money and it came as a kit. It was 2 ceramic filters. We wanted the ceramic just because.
So it's which we've already taken one of the filters and one of the.
And then it had 2 spouts in it. So you can make 2 kits or you could just have some extras. Yeah, that's why we did it. It was because it was fairly cheap. I did a little research on ceramic and there's no chemicals or anything like that. And you can wash the filters and without any soap. You just basically scrub them under the faucet, under clean water with the washcloth, and you can reuse them. So that's why we went with the ceramic.
Now, another thing that you want to have if you are using buckets at all is this bucket tool. You ever try getting one of these lids off when they're actually stuck on there?
If you have arthritic fingers like we do, that is an invaluable tool.
And so what it does is it just hooks under the lip and pops it, whether it's the square or the round. Now, obviously that wasn't clicked on, but you see how it's used. That'll be linked down in the description along with the filter kit and stuff. So we just wanted to point that one out because, like I said, if you have buckets for any of your storage, whether it's your dried goods or something like this, you're going to need that tool or you're going to be cussing the day that you put the lid on those. Okay, so this particular kit calls for a 5/8 spade bit. I have already marked out the center. There's actually a mark on the bottom of the bucket for where the center point is, so that made it super convenient. I don't have the washer on here. Now that we got that hole started, I'm going to thread this on with the washer in place. This kit comes with the nylon washers for it and a locking nut. Luckily it fits. All we were paying attention to was this going to fit so we could set it on a counter without putting stress on this spout and on the bucket.
I'm gonna grab some water so we can test it. And grab this bucket. It's a couple inches, that's above that.
I don't feel anything.
I think it goes up like this too.
It'll do both.
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. And if it does leak a little bit, you can always put some food grade silicone. Well, on the outside of the bucket, you can just seal it with whatever.
But the other thing we were talking about is, who remembers the trick camping of tying a cup to catch any of the drips? like a red Solo cup to catch that, or a Dixie cup or whatever. So worst case,
Yeah.
we should do that.
Or I'm
Right.
gonna dump this real quick so we
Okay.
can finish. Now it's fine.
So there's that.
That part's done.
Okay, and then like we said, where we put it was so that it can sit without stress on it. So I have the lid and the bottom of the bucket clicked together like they would stack. And I went ahead and marked before we started to make sure I didn't drill in the wrong places. I didn't want to drill at the bottom of the wrong bucket and mess this whole thing up. So the plan is to drill through both of these at the same time so that they line up. So this is what the filter looks like. It soaks in through the ceramic and then comes out this hole. This is going to thread through the bottom of the bucket and the lid, and then this threads on. Okay, we're gonna start slow to mark the spot and give it some grip so it won't jump all over the place. It tries to figuring stuff out while you're doing it.
We had to prime the filter and it said to soak it. So it's basically full of water. And then it says when you run the first batch through to get rid of it, just throw it out. That's like when you change your filter in your fridge and you got to run a couple of cups of water through it to get any extra charcoal and stuff out of it. I bought the ones without charcoal, but this one does have charcoal in it. So
Or at least you thought you bought the one.
yeah, I thought I bought the ones without charcoal.
So hopefully you can see the filter in there. And then this is what it looks like on the back. So that's where the water is going to drain down through.
We will attach it.
We don't need to click
You
it.
don't need to click it, but actually we don't want to click it because we want to show it filtering. Let it filter through a bunch of water there.
And we don't do fake stuff around here. We're still running it through and it's still gross water. We're gonna tell you how many times it took to get to clear water.
Yeah, we're gonna let it filter through because it's filtering through some of the charcoal in the filter. So we're gonna come back. We filled it, let it filter through, and now we've got some clear water. So now it's ready to go and use. We've got it and it's working. Now we're gonna show you how you can store it so it doesn't take up this much space.
All right, so we just packed everything in there in the bucket. Obviously, you're gonna want to dry it out. You know, this is just for.
And there you go. That's all the space you need. It's 8 inches wide by 8 inches deep by 16 inches tall.
All right, have you ever seen these and wondered what they are? And this is a water spigot or hose bib. And they have special, they're keyed. The public can't just come by and turn them on for obvious reasons. They don't want people stealing their water and for flooding, pranks and things like that. You can order a tool like this. This is a Silcock key. It has 4 different sizes because there's different sizes to turn these on. They're about $7 on Amazon. You keep them in your kit. And when you're in an urban scenario where you need water and there's no fresh water around, you don't want to do it unless the site, it's an emergency because it is stealing. Still going to be pressure in these lines. And so even if it's a year down the road, as long as no one's opened this up, there'll still be clean water in it. And you just take the end of the key like this and you find out which one fits. Then you can turn it on. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to get in trouble. Police station's across the street. That's how you can do that. You can fill your water and then you turn up your water containers and then you turn it right back off and no one's the wiser. So as you can see, this is just one way of preparing your own water filter kit in the Berkey style. There's tons of kits on Amazon. Whatever works for you, that's what I would do.
Some you can even order with the buckets or containers.
Yeah, they even have them like a whole kit for like $100 if you want to just order everything with it.
But where we already had the buckets and stuff, all we needed was the filters and the spigot.
If you haven't figured out by now, if you've watched our other videos, a lot of our stuff is practical ways to prep, and reusing some of the stuff you already have is a practical way to do that. That's why we chose to do it with recycled buckets and this kit that was like $30. The other thing, the tools that you'll need: a drill, 1/2-inch drill bit, and a 5/8 drill bit. That's all the tools that you need to do this at home. So it's not a lot of special tools or anything like that.
We'll tag the products in the description. But like we said, there's 2 of these and 2 of these in the kit that we ordered.
It also came with a cloth to clean the filters because, like I said, you can clean the filters and reuse them by just scrubbing them with clean water.
And then the bucket tool will be linked in the description.
The link to the Silcock key. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and found some value in it, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks.